What if I told you that one of the smartest investors alive believes Bitcoin will hit $1 million per coin? And what if the data actually backs her up in ways most people completely ignore? Right now, most people are laughing at that number. They think it sounds crazy, unrealistic, even reckless. But here's the thing. The people who laughed at Bitcoin at $1 were wrong. The people who laughed at Bitcoin at $1,000 were wrong. And the people laughing right now might be making the same exact mistake again. My name is your host, and today on Money Finance Insights, we are going deep. We are going to walk through exactly why Cathie Wood believes Bitcoin reaches $1 million. We are going to look at the real data, the real trends, and the real reasons this might not be crazy at all. By the end of this video, you're going to see Bitcoin in a completely different way. So do yourself a favor, stick around, because this is one of those videos you will thank yourself for watching. And if you are new here, hit that subscribe button right now. We cover the financial stories that actually matter, explained in ways that make real sense. Hit like too, because it helps more people find content like this. Now let us get into the story, and trust me, it is a fascinating one. Let us start at the beginning, because to understand Cathie Wood's prediction, you need to understand who she is. Cathie Wood is not some random internet influencer throwing out wild numbers. She is the founder and CEO of ARK Invest, one of the most well-known investment firms in the world. ARK manages billions of dollars in assets focused entirely on disruptive innovation. She has been right before about things that sounded completely impossible. She predicted Tesla would become one of the most valuable companies on the planet when almost no one believed it. She called the rise of genomics, artificial intelligence, and digital payments long before they became mainstream. So when Cathie Wood says Bitcoin hits $1 million, people in finance actually pay attention. She is not guessing, she's modeling. And her models are built on data, trends, and mathematical projections most investors never bother to look at. So the real question is not whether she is crazy. The real question is, what does she know that most people do not? Let us talk about her actual prediction first, so we are all on the same page. Cathie Wood and ARK Invest have publicly stated that Bitcoin could reach $1 million per coin by 2030. That is not by 2100 or some distant science fiction timeline. That is within the next several years, potentially within your lifetime, and certainly within your investing window. Now, I know what you are thinking right now. Bitcoin is sitting at a price that still feels high to most people. The idea of going from where it is now to $1 million sounds like a stretch. But let me give you some important context that changes how this feels. In 2011, Bitcoin was worth less than $1. In 2017, it crossed $10,000 for the first time. In 2021, it briefly touched $69,000. Every single time Bitcoin hit a new milestone, people said it had gone too far. Every single time, they were eventually proven wrong. The pattern here is not random. There are structural reasons Bitcoin keeps climbing. And understanding those reasons is the key to understanding why 1 million might not just be possible. It might be inevitable. Now here is where the story gets really interesting, and I want you to pay close attention. Cathie Wood's prediction is built on something called institutional adoption. And this is a force so powerful, it changes everything about how Bitcoin is valued. For most of Bitcoin's history, it was driven by individual retail investors, regular people buying small amounts, hoping to get rich, sometimes panic selling when prices dropped. That dynamic kept Bitcoin volatile, unpredictable, and easy to dismiss. But something massive shifted in the last few years. Institutions, meaning banks, hedge funds, pension funds, and corporations, started buying Bitcoin, not experimenting with it, actually allocating serious capital to it. Companies like MicroStrategy have put billions of dollars of Bitcoin on their balance sheets. Major Wall Street banks have created Bitcoin investment products for their wealthiest clients. And then came the biggest shift of all, the approval of Bitcoin spot ETFs in the United States. This was a moment that changed the game completely, and most people still do not understand how big it was. A spot Bitcoin ETF means that regular investment funds can now hold actual Bitcoin, not contracts or derivatives, but real Bitcoin. This opened the floodgates for institutional money in a way that had never existed before. Think about pension funds, the retirement savings of millions of ordinary Americans. These funds manage trillions of dollars, and they have strict rules about what they can invest in. Before spot ETFs, most pension funds could not touch Bitcoin at all. Now they can allocate a small percentage to it through a regulated, familiar investment structure. Even a 1% allocation from major pension funds would represent hundreds of billions of new dollars flowing into Bitcoin. Now imagine 2% or 5% happening across dozens of institutions worldwide. The numbers become staggering very quickly. Cathie Wood's models account for this institutional flow, and that is a big part of why her target is where it is. She's not predicting a mania. She is predicting a structural shift in how global capital is stored. But wait, There's another layer to this story that makes it even more compelling. And this is the part that most finance channels never explain properly. It comes down to something called Bitcoin's fixed supply, and why it makes Bitcoin fundamentally different from every other asset. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. That number is written into the code, and nothing, no government, no company, no person, can change it. Now compare that to the US dollar. The Federal Reserve printed more money in the 2 years following 2020 than in the previous 200 years combined. That is not an exaggeration. That is a documented, verifiable fact. When you print more of something, each unit becomes worth less. That is why the price of groceries, houses, and cars has gone up so dramatically in recent years. Your dollars are buying less because there are more of them chasing the same goods. Bitcoin works in the complete opposite direction. Not only is the supply fixed at 21 million, but the rate at which new Bitcoin is created actually slows down over time. This happens through an event called the halving, which occurs approximately every 4 years. Every halving cuts the number of new Bitcoin entering the market in half. This means the supply squeeze gets tighter and tighter over time. Meanwhile, demand from institutions, individuals, and governments continues to grow. When you combine shrinking supply with growing demand, basic economics tells you what happens to the price. It goes up, and it goes up dramatically. Cathie Wood understands this deeply, and it is central to her $1 million projection. She has described Bitcoin as digital gold, but she believes it will eventually surpass gold itself in total value. Gold is currently valued at over $13 trillion as an asset class. Bitcoin's total market cap, even at peak moments, has been a fraction of that. If Bitcoin reaches just half the total value of gold, the price per coin would be staggering. If it matches gold or surpasses it, $1 million per Bitcoin starts to look conservative. Now I want to stop here for a second because I know some of you are feeling skeptical, and honestly, healthy skepticism is good. You should always question big claims. So let me address the counter-arguments head on, because this is where the story gets really nuanced. The biggest argument against Bitcoin reaching $1 million is government regulation. Critics say that governments will eventually step in, ban Bitcoin, or crush it with heavy taxes and restrictions. This sounds reasonable on the surface. But here's what those critics miss. Governments have already tried this approach in several places. China banned Bitcoin trading and mining completely, multiple times. And guess what happened to Bitcoin's price after China's bans? It dropped temporarily, then it recovered, then it hit new all-time highs. Because Bitcoin is not a company you can shut down by arresting a CEO. It is a decentralized network running on thousands of computers around the world simultaneously. You cannot turn it off any more than you can turn off the internet itself. Actually, here's something that will really surprise you about the government regulation argument. Instead of crushing Bitcoin, many governments are now competing to attract it. Countries like El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender, the first country ever to do so. Other smaller nations are watching closely, and some are following similar paths. In the United States, the conversation in Washington has shifted dramatically. Instead of talking about banning Bitcoin, politicians are now talking about strategic Bitcoin reserves. The idea of the US government holding Bitcoin as a national asset, once laughable, is now being seriously debated. If that ever happens, the impact on Bitcoin's price would be historic. And Cathie Wood has cited these regulatory trends as supportive of her long-term projection. The wind is shifting, and it is shifting in Bitcoin's direction. Let us zoom out even further because there's a global story here that most American investors completely overlook. Bitcoin is not just a US phenomenon, it is a global one. And in many parts of the world, Bitcoin is not a speculative investment. It is a lifeline. In countries experiencing hyperinflation, people are using Bitcoin to protect their savings from collapsing currencies. In nations with unstable banking systems, people are using Bitcoin to store and move money safely. In regions where billions of people have smartphones but no bank accounts, Bitcoin is providing financial access for the first time. This global adoption story adds an enormous layer of demand that traditional financial models often ignore. Cathie Wood and ARK Invest build their models to account for global adoption, not just American investment trends. When you include the developing world's potential adoption, the demand projections become even larger. And larger demand against a fixed supply means one thing: higher prices, potentially much higher. Now, here's a curiosity I want to drop on you because this one genuinely stopped me when I first learned it. Studies have estimated that somewhere between 3 and 4 million Bitcoin are permanently lost. These are coins sent to wrong addresses, stored on hard drives, thrown away, or owned by people who died without sharing passwords. Remember the guy who spent years trying to dig through a landfill to find a hard drive with 7,500 Bitcoin? Those coins are gone forever, which means out of the 21 million Bitcoin that will ever exist, the effective circulating supply is significantly lower. Some estimates suggest only 14 to 17 million Bitcoin are actually accessible and tradable. Now think about what that means for supply and demand calculations. The scarcity is even more extreme than the headline number suggests. When institutions start competing for a supply that is actually smaller than most people think, prices can move faster than any model predicts. Let us talk about the timeline for a moment, because I think this is important for how you process this prediction. Cathie Wood's $1 million target is set for 2030, which is roughly 5 to 6 years away from when this video was made. To reach $1 million, Bitcoin would need to increase significantly from current levels. That sounds like a lot, and it is. But let us remember that Bitcoin went from roughly $3,000 in early 2019 to $69,000 by late 2021. That is a more than 20-fold increase in less than 3 years. The asset has demonstrated the ability to make moves that traditional finance considers impossible. And each cycle, the institutional infrastructure supporting Bitcoin gets stronger. Each cycle, more regulatory clarity arrives. Each cycle, more adoption happens at every level of society. Cathie Wood is not betting on magic. She's betting on a compounding trend that has already been proven to move in one direction. Here's another thing I want you to think about: the role of Bitcoin in modern portfolio theory. For years, professional investors were told to stay away from Bitcoin because it was too volatile and too risky. But the academic research on this has shifted significantly. Multiple studies have shown that adding even a small Bitcoin allocation to a traditional portfolio improved overall risk-adjusted returns over a 10-year period. The reason is counterintuitive. Bitcoin, despite its wild swings, tends to move independently of stocks and bonds. This means it can actually reduce certain types of portfolio risk through diversification. Major investment firms now use this research to justify Bitcoin allocations to clients. As more and more professional advisors start recommending Bitcoin as part of a balanced portfolio, the demand grows steadily, not from speculators, from long-term buy and hold institutional investors, unlikely to panic sell at the first sign of trouble. This kind of sticky, long-term institutional demand is exactly what Cathie Wood is counting on to drive Bitcoin's long-term price trajectory. We are now past the halfway point of this story, and I want to bring something deeply human into it. Because at the end of the day, this is not just about charts and predictions. This is about whether ordinary people can protect and grow their wealth in a financial system that often feels rigged against them. Think about the average American family. They save money in a bank that pays almost no interest. They watch their purchasing power erode every year because of inflation. They invest in a stock market that can crash dramatically and wipe out years of savings overnight. Bitcoin, for all its volatility, represents something genuinely new, a store of value that cannot be printed into worthlessness. Cathie Wood has said in interviews that she sees Bitcoin as hope for a financial system that desperately needs an alternative. And whether you agree with her or not, that message resonates with millions of people around the world. That emotional connection is part of what drives long-term demand. And long-term demand drives long-term price. Now, let us talk about what could go wrong, because an honest video covers both sides of this story. The biggest real risks to the $1 million prediction are technological disruption, regulatory crackdowns, and market cycles. On the technology side, what if a better digital asset comes along that makes Bitcoin obsolete? This is a real question, and it is one that serious Bitcoin investors have thought about deeply. The answer most Bitcoin advocates give is that Bitcoin's value comes not just from its technology, but from its network effects and proven track record. Gold is not the most technologically advanced metal, but it remains the world's premier store of value because of trust and history. Bitcoin has been operating without a single day of downtime for over 15 years now. That reliability and track record is itself a form of value that newer cryptocurrencies simply do not have. On the regulatory side, while outright bans seem increasingly unlikely, heavy taxation could still slow adoption. This is a genuine risk, and it is one that investors in this space monitor constantly. And on market cycles, Bitcoin has experienced crashes of 80% or more multiple times in its history. Anyone buying near a market peak and selling near a bottom could lose enormous amounts of money. Cathie Wood herself acknowledges the volatility, but her argument is that the long-term trend overwhelms the short-term noise. Let us also address something that I think gets missed in most Bitcoin discussions. The conversation is not just about Bitcoin hitting $1 million as a number. It is about what that number represents in terms of global adoption and financial system transformation. If Bitcoin hits $1 million per coin, that means the total market capitalization would be approaching $21 trillion. That would make Bitcoin larger than the entire US stock market as it existed just a decade ago. It would represent a fundamental shift in how global wealth is stored and transferred. Banks, governments, and financial institutions would have to adapt in ways that would transform everyday financial life. Mortgages, savings, international payments, remittances. All of it would look different in a world where Bitcoin is a primary store of value. Cathie Wood is not just predicting a price. She's predicting a transformation of the entire financial world. And whether she is right on the exact number or not, the direction of travel she describes is supported by real, observable trends. I want to share one more piece of this puzzle before we start heading toward our conclusion. It involves something called the network effect, and it is one of the most powerful forces in the modern economy. The network effect simply means that something becomes more valuable as more people use it. The telephone was not useful when only 10 people had one. The internet was not transformative when only scientists could access it. Social media was not powerful when only a few college students were using it. Bitcoin is experiencing its own powerful network effect right now. Every time a major company, country, or institution adopts Bitcoin, it validates the asset for others sitting on the fence. Every new user, every new institutional holder, every new ETF product makes Bitcoin more trusted, more liquid, and more valuable. Cathie Wood's models incorporate this compounding network effect, and it is one of the most compelling arguments for dramatic long-term price appreciation. The network effect, once it reaches a tipping point, tends to become self-reinforcing in ways that are almost impossible to stop. So where does all of this leave us? Let me bring the whole story together for you now. Cathie Wood is predicting $1 million Bitcoin by 2030, and here is why that is not as crazy as it sounds. Bitcoin has a fixed supply that is actually even smaller than most people realize, and that supply gets tighter with every halving event. Institutional adoption is accelerating dramatically thanks to regulatory clarity and new investment products like spot ETFs. Global demand from both developed and developing nations continues to grow steadily and powerfully. Governments are now competing to attract Bitcoin rather than consistently trying to ban it. The network effect is compounding in ways that make Bitcoin stronger with each passing year. And the macroeconomic environment, with inflation, currency debasement, and financial instability, is creating exactly the conditions where a fixed supply digital asset becomes increasingly attractive. None of this guarantees $1 million. No investment prediction comes with a guarantee. But the structural forces Cathie Wood is pointing to are real, verifiable, and already in motion right now. Before I let you go, I want to say something directly to you, the person watching this video right now. You are not here by accident. You are here because you care about your financial future. You are here because you want to understand what is happening in the world before it happens to you. Whether Bitcoin reaches $1 million or not, understanding the forces driving this asset is genuinely valuable knowledge. The financial world is changing faster than at any point in modern history, and the people who take the time to understand these changes, like you are doing right now, are the ones best positioned to navigate them. This is exactly why Money Finance Insights exists, to break down complex financial stories in ways that actually make sense. If this video added value to your understanding, please take 2 seconds and hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps more people find this content and join this important conversation. And speaking of conversation, I want to hear from you right now in the comments below. Do you think Cathie Wood is right? Do you think Bitcoin reaches $1 million by 2030? Or do you think this whole prediction is wildly overblown? Drop your honest opinion in the comments. I read every single one, and I genuinely want to know where you stand. And if you know someone who should hear this story, a friend, a family member, a coworker thinking about investing, please share this video with them today. You might be doing them a bigger favor than you realize. The financial decisions people make in the next few years could define the next decade of their lives. Sharing this kind of information with the people you care about is one of the most genuinely helpful things you can do. Let me leave you with this final thought, because I think it is the most important one of all. Every generation gets a small number of moments where a genuinely new asset class emerges. Every generation includes people who saw it early, understood it deeply, and positioned themselves accordingly. And every generation includes far more people who waited too long, dismissed it too quickly, or let fear keep them on the sidelines. We are still in the early innings of Bitcoin's story. Cathie Wood is not alone in believing that. Some of the smartest investors, economists, and technologists in the world share her long-term conviction. Whether the number is 1 million, or 500,000, or 2 million, the direction these serious, data-driven minds are pointing is absolutely clear. The question is not whether you agree with the exact price target. The question is whether you are paying enough attention to make an informed decision about your own financial future. Today, you paid attention. Today, you took the time to understand a story that most people will only hear about after it has already happened. That is what separates informed investors from everyone else. And that is exactly what Money Finance Insights is here to help you become every single day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this community, and we will see you in the next one.